I'm interviewing my friend Corinne Jessup. Corinne, my first question for you is there anything from your childhood that impacted your life today?
Yes. Growing up, I had a bear who we referred to as the name as Bearman. I brought him everywhere with me. He was with me 24/7, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and there was not a day or a moment I can remember in my younger childhood without Bearman. Without having Bearman, it was a complete panic of where's Bearman? My whole family knew that Bearman was a significant object in my life that um, would cause me a panic without him. He was about a foot tall. He was brown, two black eyes, a button nose, and a sewn mouth. Just one sewn piece across. Um, Throughout the years, Bearman slowly got tattered. Through having two puppies, he got beat up through that. Um, so that caused Bearman to have deterioration of aesthetics as years went on.
Wow, okay. And why did this have such a significant effect on you?
Bearman provided a sense of comfort. He calmed the panic of, oh my God, where's Bearman? So that was a calmed anxiety growing up and gave confidence as well, knowing that Bearman was always there as an extra support system. Although I did have a strong support system at home and throughout my whole life, Bearman was always guaranteed to be there 24/7. And it was also a sense of control. I could control where Bearman went, what he did, what happened, because it was me controlling what went on. If I couldn't control what was going on around me, I could control what was going on with Bearman because it was mine.
Is there any specific time that this object helped you?
Yes. One time specifically, it was another panic attack without Bearman. My dad had owned a restaurant at the time, and which closed late, naturally, being a restaurant. And I was about 6 years old and needed to go to bed for school the next day, and Bearman was not there. And unfortunately, there was only one car at the time because my dad's car was in the shop, so he had my mom's, thinking that so that way he could get home from work when it was late. My mom stayed home with my sister and I. Knowing that Bearman wasn't there and we lived in the middle of nowhere, it was going to be an issue to get Bearman home. And knowing that my dad couldn't close his entire restaurant early and leaving staff there unattended was not an option. So we called a cab company. And this old man walked into the restaurant and said, "I'm here for Mr. Bear." My dad walked out of the kitchen with Bearman in his hands, all tattered up and gross smelling like a restaurant. And he said, "Well, here's Mr. Bear." And the taxi driver left. And my dad was like, "Well, this is for my daughter and she needs this." So once the taxi driver pulled up the driveway with Bearman buckled in the front seat, this old man got out of the car and cried. And not only was I crying because, oh my gosh, Bearman back again, loss of control, but this old man said that it made his night and he would absolutely never forget it. So a $47 taxi ride for Bearman for the night.
Do you think you would be different if you didn't have this stuffed animal?
I think that having not only my original support system, but Bearman as an additional support system helped to reduce anxiety. And without having him, would most likely I would be less independent and less confident as well. Um, Growing up, competing with horses, I always not only had my family, friends, trainer, everyone on my side for my support system. I always knew that at the end of the day, there was Bearman. In class, Bearman came to school in my backpack, on the bus, on the plane, to the barn, to every competition I went to. Bearman was there the entire time. So I think that he also pushed me to have better things to do, knowing that the support was there. Once another specific time with Bearman I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I went to the post office with my grandmother and forgot Bearman, and I cried for the entire hour that we were out grocery shopping and at the post office, knowing that Bearman wasn't with me. and was completely fine at my grandparents' house, that nothing was obviously going to happen to a stuffed animal. But knowing that I didn't have that with me was a sense of loss and pure panic. So overall, Bearman has definitely helped me in life, and at points that it was possible necessary for me to leave Bearman was growing up having horses, riding. Naturally, I was not able to hold Bearman to ride. That would be slightly disastrous. Bearman was naturally on the sidelines in the car, wherever, hanging out, doing his thing. But at that point, I always had my horse as a support system, not only a teammate, but was my pure support system. So overall, there is always a second sense of support system in my life besides what everyone else's natural support system would, the people around them and other scenarios that have impacted their life. I had Bearman that significantly impacted my life and helped me to be where I am today.
Well, thank you so much, Corinne, for sharing with us your beloved object.